The Zohar says that from now on, chavivusa talyo milsa, that everything is dependent upon love. And what exactly is ahavas Yisrael? What exactly is the concept of love to your fellow Jew and the concept of love to the entire world? Obviously, they don't mean carnal love. They don't mean physical love as a husband to a wife. But the question is, how can we have true ahavas Yisrael? The Rambam says, just as a person wishes to have success with his own material things and wishes people to speak kindly of him and to care about his possessions and to worry about him, so too we should have the same feeling and the same awareness with the other person. We have to worry about the success of their material things and their honor and their health, as well as worrying about them spiritually, because that's also part of love. But the Rambam says that it's supposed to be similar to yourself, because intellectually, it is intellectually impossible to really love someone like you love yourself. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya reveals something most profound. There is a love that is natural, that's actually more powerful in certain ways than the love between parents and children and the love between a husband and wife. And that's the love of brothers. And even though brothers fight, there is a natural love that bonds them if they don't get into rivalries that cause hatred, because love can also turn into hatred. And the reason for that is that because they have the same father and mother, so they are essentially the same. And the love is not a love of attraction because opposites attract. You need to have opposites or something of an opposite to attract to yourself. Brothers are alike. They're physically alike because they come from the same physical bodies. And therefore, to a certain degree, they're spiritually alike. And the love that they have for each other is most natural. It's only when the ego gets in the way that they have competition, which destroys their love. But the love of brothers is the most natural love there is in the world, because it's a love like for yourself. And this is the same love that is possible for another Jew. Because even though physically we may be different, our souls are exactly the same. And because our souls are the same, we can truly love the person just like we love ourselves. And how's that possible? You don't love your brother like yourself. You love your brother because he's similar to yourself. So the Rebbe goes one step further. That as far as the father is concerned, they are all the same. When a person puts the will of his father, and that by us is our Father in heaven, then, as far as our Father in heaven is concerned, every other Jew is exactly like us, because as far as the source is concerned, they're exactly the same source. And this is the basis for what it says in the Tanya in the 2nd chapter. He asks, there are differences among Jews. So how is it possible that every Jew comes from a part of God above. And as part of God above, that means that their essence is godly. God is one. There can be only one level to God, which is infinite. If we're really part of God above, there should be no differences between my soul and your soul. How come, though, that no matter how hard some people try, certain people are blessed with a greater connection to God, naturally? Only certain people become prophets. Only certain people become the influencers of Klal Yisrael. So that must mean that there are differences. What makes for these differences? And the answer that the Tanya gives is that all the Jewish people are one great body. One great body in space and in time. In space, those who live at one particular era are one. But then over the centuries, all of Israel are one great body. We are one with the great body of Israel that started with the patriarchs, and with Moses, and with Aaron, and with Rabbi Akiva, and with Rabbeinu HaKodesh, the Rabbi Judah the Prince, and the Rambam, and all of the great leaders of Israel, and all the great sages, and all the judges, and all of the prophets. We are one with them. But there are differences. What makes for the differences are the roles that God has given each particular Jew. For each of us is like a cell of a particular limb. And each limb has a function. Some of us, our function is the head. Some of us, the function of the eyes. And some, the hands or the feet. We have different roles. But that does not change the essence, just as in a child. Every part of the child is one essence. And the proof of that is that the child's brain gives life to every part of the child. Now, if you had a transplant, you transplanted someone else's heart, or lungs, or eyes, anything you transplant in your body, automatically your body will recognize it as a foreign body and try to reject it. And forever, you'd have to be on medicines that will go against the antibodies working in your system, that will reject a transplant, because you only give life to that which is similar to you, which is your essence. So your nails are the same essence as your brain. And your brain recognizes them as the same thing and gives them life and allows them to grow. So too, every Jewish soul is the same essence if you went into the essence of the Jew. The difference is only the outward shell, the outward function. And so, you and I are the same soul. The only difference between us is the role that God has chosen for us. And because of that, one of us may become head and the other hand or heart. But essentially, all Jews are the same. Moses and all of Israel were like the brain and the limbs of one organic entity. And that's the reason why all the prophecies had to go through Moses. As we explained before, it says, and God said all of these words lay more. God said all the words at the time of Matan Torah that he would ever say, because all of the communications between God and the Jewish people are timeless, were stated at that moment, because Moses is the ultimate essential brain of Klal Yisrael. But we and Moses are one essence, and we and each other are one essence. And that's the reason why you can love your fellow Jew just like yourself,